The reason that you are still struggling with confidence and insecurities is because you have consistently placed your self-worth and your validation in the external. You've placed it in your makeup. You've placed it in your fashion. You have placed it in the fact that other people tell you how amazing and how loved and how special you are. And none of these things are wrong, but they are creating a surface level, shallow experience of yourself. Because you have forgotten how to place your self-trust deep within your own body. Because you've placed your self-worth and validation in external objects or external experiences, which are always subject to change. They're not rooted, they're not grounded. Therefore, your security in yourself, your trust in yourself isn't rooted and grounded. Your ability to validate yourself when those external things are no longer present becomes fickle. It becomes rocky because it is not deeply grounded in deep self-worth, deep self-trust, deep internal resourcing, okay? And so through womb healing, we learn how to internally resource ourselves from deep within. We ground our self-trust in the depths of our womb. We ground our strength and our sense of femininity deep within our womb, deep within our body. We build deep self-trust, deep self-worth, deep self-love from deep within our own body, based on our own experience of ourselves, based on how we experience, feel, and know ourselves from deep within, based on our capacity to sit with our emotions, not run away from them, to sit with our pain, to be present through the ups and downs, to hold our own hand, to love ourselves, and to truly validate ourselves in every experience. Not just validating ourselves when we feel good, but also learning to validate ourselves when we feel triggered, when we feel uncomfortable, when we feel sad, when we feel anxious, when we feel depressed. Through deep self-acceptance, we learn to eradicate and heal the shame that is living within our bodies, the deep generational trauma that is preventing us from loving and validating ourselves from within to begin with. Because the shame prevents us from knowing ourselves on a deeply intimate level, knowing ourselves through our highs and our lows, and loving ourselves through every phase of being, every state of being. And so once we eradicate the shame, this is when we can truly start to find deep self-love, deep self-trust, and a deeper experience of ourselves that isn't based on any external circumstances. In fact, it is completely independent of the external world. And this is when you find your goddess self-worth power, so that you can give yourself permission to take up space in the world, to be your most unapologetic self, to be deeply authentic, deeply empowered, deeply expressive, in a way that allows you to validate your own self, your own expression, your own emotions, your own creativity, and truly start to see worth and value in what you have to bring to the world and how you enjoy to share your skills, your gifts, your expressions, your creativity, your voice, your love. You start to validate yourself first. And that is so much more deeply sustainable and life-enhancing than when it comes from the external. And so then when you do get praise and love from the external, it becomes just a signal that you are already on a high self-worth path, that you are already deeply so in love with yourself and therefore can validate yourself. And so the external just becomes a reflection of the internal. It is never the other way around. And if you are relying on the external to give you what you need to feel good, to feel safe, to feel secure on the internal, well, then that is a codependent relationship. And that is a relationship that is not sustainable because it's not rooted in what is real. And you can only know what is real when it comes from within. Your capacity to validate yourself and find self-worth from within isn't rooted in a need or an ego desire. It is about getting to know the very depths of your own soul, getting to know who you are and loving who you are at the deepest soul level possible. Because truly, the greatest glow-up beauty hack that you can implement into your life is self-love, is self-worth, is learning to validate yourself, love yourself, and value yourself at the deepest level possible. This is when you start to shine from within. This is when you start to radiate natural levels of beauty, feminine magnetism, deep self-magic. This is when all of this activates, when you can truly learn to love yourself and validate yourself and find deep levels of self-worth and self-love. That is the ultimate glow-up hack, the ultimate beauty hack.